Welcome, everybody. Hope we're all okay. Hope you've all had a great weekend. We're just, as you might have noticed now, we're not doing the Mondays with one of our sporting heroes out there, which we can get hold of. We have decided that we're going to just do a little bit of a roundup, really, of last week and also the week's guest, which we've got coming forward. So here we are on SGH. We've got me and AJ. We're going to have a little bit of a chat. AJ, how are you doing? You've had a good weekend, mate?
Morning, Couzens. How are you doing?
I'm very well, my friend. Very well, very well. Good weekend?
Yeah, amazing. I've scarified my lawn for the 4th time in 5 weeks. There's actually officially no moss left and probably not a lot of grass either.
And I'm also hearing that you've gone down Hurdy's route as well, haven't you? You've got yourself an electric bike. It's a proper bike. You've got to get yourself a proper bike.
Couzens, I'm an athlete. I don't need a proper bike. And I live on a big hill, which has always put me off. So I've gone down the cheats route, and I've got a power-assisted bike. Looking forward to it. I can't wait. A
power-assisted bike. AJ, last week, we had some great guests. I know you were on. You're in the background all the time, watching all these. What was your highlights from last week? What really grabbed you last week with the guests which we had?
I know, because we've been doing this. I think this is the going into the 4th week of this. And I look back at all the streams that are available on the SGH website, and I just look at the people we've had on, and I can't believe it, to be honest. From every sport, rugby, cricket, golf, football, athletics. It's been absolutely brilliant. I have to say, I really enjoyed listening to Derek Redmond last week. I thought he was really honest. And these shows are all meant to be about having a bit of fun, trying to replicate what you do in a pub, I guess. But actually, Derek was really fabulous. He talked a little bit about his career and some of the adversity that he faced as a child, breaking into athletics. Certainly the racism and being dyslexic, of which, of course, Lenny always jumps in with the funny, doesn't he? But really, Derek was lovely. I've enjoyed listening to absolutely everyone. Obviously, we've evolved, haven't we? We started off using that famous platform called Zoom, which probably let us down at the start. Then we moved on to something else. That was Jake's idea, and that failed miserably. I know Jake's listening in the background, so that'll wind him up. And then the guys from SimplyVideo came along and sort of were our knights in shining armour and gave us a stable platform, and it's been pretty great ever since. And of course, their software's been, but it's only as good as the internet that's been provided to everybody in the homes. So.
Well, I was just about to say that, AJ. Last week we did have a few problems. Island Lamb last week was great. Some of the great stories Lammy had, but unfortunately we can't do anything with the technology. Some people's phones or iPads or computers are just their sound quality sometimes isn't as good as what it should be. And also we had the problems last week, as did all the country. I think a lot of people out there which are still in business and still working through these platforms, as you just mentioned, they're all having problems. I'm watching BBC, I'm watching Sky, and they keep losing people. And even today, Alan Smith, on Sky Sports, as he went missing because they lost connection. So it is happening to everybody, is that? And it's, we've had some, I agree with exactly what you said there. I thought Derek Redmond this week was fantastic. I thought, he was, really honest and frank with how he was. I love Tony Drigo as well on Saturday. On Friday. I thought, Tony's a really good friend of mine. I work with him down at Leeds anyhow, and I know he's a good talker. But some of the stories he's got are fantastic. And the one about the Italian president coming in and telling it was a draw on Wednesday, I just thought was priceless, really, to be honest.
Yeah, you just can't. I remember that Italian 90 was such a big part of my youth, effectively, and you can't sort of believe he was playing in that. And everybody remembers the outcome, and of course, Nessun Dorma made his fame and fortune out of Italian 90. But it was, these people have amazing stories because they've obviously played at elite level, just like yourself, because albeit for a shorter period of time. But yeah, they have some incredible stories, and I just come in, do the Q&A off social media, so I have the easy bit. Having Lenny and Hurdy with their quips and their wiseness is always brilliant. I love listening to Linny. I could listen to Linny. For me, he's a comedian, and Hurdy's always Hurdy.
Well, I think we can do a full show on Linny quite easily, couldn't we? Which I think is something which we definitely need to do at some point, because he's an absolute character. Looking forward to this week.
Because I think he's still trying to palm off his Wonder signed signature. I think he's still honestly trying to peddle that around. We'll see how much he gets for that. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
Looking at this week's guests, I know there's we're all doing a bit of work behind the scenes of people who we know and friends and things. Who have we got this week? AJ, who have we got tomorrow right through to Friday? I think we've got some great guests for me.
Well, you start with tomorrow. I'll start with Wednesday. Now I'll jump to Wednesday. You do Thursday. I'll do Friday, because Friday's my sport.
All right. So tomorrow we've got Russell Osman tomorrow, who played for Ipswich Town, was also in the Escape to Victory. I'm really interested to know how he got that part. He played in a great team,
Was that the one with Stallone? And was Stallone in Escape to Victory?
Yeah. You had Stallone in there. You had Pele in there. Ozzy Ardiles was in there. Bobby Moore was in there. And as it happens, I've done a little bit of research this morning, and there's quite a few Ipswich players who were extras in that as well. So I don't know how that came about, and how he actually got the gig itself. So that'd be an interesting one for me. But he played in a great team. There was Eric Gates, there was Alan Brazil, there was Mick Mills, there was the list kind of went on. Bobby Robson as his manager in the early 80s. So he obviously played for England as well. So we've got that one tomorrow, which I'm really looking forward to. Wednesday we've got a great guest as well, haven't we? Wednesday.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, we're really excited about that. And Lee Dixon, obviously former Arsenal player and pundit on ITV. So that's going to be a really interesting one, and a great footballer. Played, of course, in a great era, didn't he, Arsenal? I mean, because you're a football man. I'm definitely.
Well, I think it was. You talk about the Invincibles. Really, I think that's the thing with Dixon. He came from Stoke down to Arsenal. Played at Arsenal the rest of his career, and what a career he had at right back. And you just talk about the four people at the back. Adams, you Bold, Keown came in there, Winterburn and himself, and what they had there, and also they came through the era of a few Alkies in that team as well, didn't they? With Tony Adams and Mersk, has obviously had a few problems, which he's come out and said. So they, been some interesting stories there from Dicko, I think on Wednesday. Obviously played for England as well, played at the top level, and also a fantastic golfer as well. He's a very, very keen golfer. Right? Very keen golfer. I've seen him in his back garden practicing. So that'll be good. Thursday.
Well, because I'm going to ask, what is it with footballers? They all finish their careers, and then they just turn to golf, and then become. Who's the lad who's trying to actually become a tour pro at the moment? I remember.
Jimmy Bullard did it, didn't he? Jimmy Bullard tried to go on the Euro Pro Tour. I know Lee Sharp's trying to get onto the Seniors Tour. He's getting ready for that. He wants to try and get onto there. Gary Mack was... Maisie's
a great player. Yeah. Maisie's off 3 or 4. Robbie, obviously... Yeah. Oh, sorry, because I'm just going to interject there. Robbie, obviously, great player. I've carried for Robbie in many a Pro-Am. And for me, the highlight of my entire 3 weeks of this has definitely been Robbie's 4-ball. Just remind me who it was, Cuddy, will you?
I think it was me, you, and Hurdy. I think.
Not sure about that, because it's embedded in here. It started off with Jack Nicklaus, who I've got on my wall. It started off with, I think he went Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods, yeah.
It was Tiger or Rory. Just fairly irrelevant, to be honest. And then, you know what? Who did he throw in then?
Did he not throw in Linny? Oh, no, he threw in you, didn't he?
Come on, Cuzzy.
He threw in you. I know, you're bigging yourself up here, AJ. You're bigging yourself up.
I didn't normally get 10 minutes on these shows.
No, but, it's. I think with golf and football, it's either you went off and, to a certain point, you went off to the bookies and played snooker, or you went and played golf. Gary McAllister, for me, when I was down at Leeds, was a big golfer, really, really good golfer. He was a scratch golfer, could have gone into golf instead of football. Played for Scotland at golf as well, did Gary Mack. So, I got into golf then, didn't really take it up, properly until I kind of came out of the game, really. And I play off between, 1.7, I'm going to say, is my handicap. So if you know what that means out there, then it's not that bad. Not as good as Hurdy and Linney, but it's not that bad. But I think it keeps that competitive edge, and I think that's why a lot of the lads do go into it, because we all like to have some competition, and that competition, when we finish playing football, is difficult to get hold of, and sometimes in a golf, side of it, we can all play against each other with handicaps and so on and so forth. So I think that's a big thing, I think, for a lot of them. But I know Lee is definitely big into his golf as well, and he's big into out with his bike. So that'll be a good one, because we've got a couple of electric bikes going out there and a couple of people on proper bikes. So I'm sure there'll be a bit of banter about that. We've got Jermaine Beckford then on Thursday.
Going back to our Yorkshire roots.
Yeah, so I work with Jermaine on match days again down at Leeds, and he's a great lad. Really, really, really good lad. Obviously had some success in his career, and down at Leeds, he really did. He really did.
I'm sure he's had a bit of sex in his career as well. To be honest.
It was success. Not that must have been. Come on, AJ. Obviously scored the goal at Man United. Scored the goal to get Leeds promoted. He's went off to Leicester and Everton and a few other places, but also came from non-league. So that'll be an interesting chat. Will Jermaine, and as I say, he's a good friend of mine. So we'll have a bit of a laugh with Jermaine on Thursday. And if we got Friday, we've got a big one Friday.
Okay, all right. Well, the big, because they come on, they're big every day, aren't they?
They're all big.
They are big. Okay, so on Friday, I'm obviously really excited about this. Michael Vaughan's going to be on the show. He needs no introduction, does he? He's probably one of England's finest captains. Led England to that famous Ashes series win against Australia in 2005. Now a big cricket pundit, all-round top guy, very good golfer as well, incidentally, and really looking forward to this one, to get Michael on the show. We've obviously had Goffey, and getting some of Goffey's insights around England, and even to a degree some of his coaching stuff that he did with England was great. But to hear Michael and to hear Michael talk around the Ashes win and the characters in the game, really, really looking forward to that one.
Well, I'm more looking forward to the actual after-party talk as well. When they went to Downing Street and there was a few people worse for wear. Peterson, Flintoff in particular, were a little bit worse for wear. And, I'm interested on that side of it a little bit, But he was, for me, I think you're right, AJ. I think, I do watch my cricket and I enjoy my cricket. I think he's been maybe one of the figureheads who changed cricket. Changed everybody's perception out there of cricket as well, of that win you just touched on. So, I'm looking forward to that one. We've got a special guest here, has just turned up here. It looks like he's just in the bottom corner there. We're hoping he can hear us and we can hear him, but he's homeschooling as well. And I'm guessing he's been out on his electric bike again this morning.
Out again, did 20 miles around Harewood. I'm loving it, but. Like you just said there's some amazing guests on this week, and I'm just touching probably right at the end, but right at the start, Russell Osman tomorrow, who's the England international, Ipswich, played for a lot of clubs, but the most thing that I remember as a kid was he played in Escape to Victory.
Exactly. And also, I've just done a little bit on that earlier, and we were just talking about that, and it's more a case of who's in that. You've got Pele in there, you've got Moore in there, you've got Azzy Ardiles in there. But also, you had a lot of the Ipswich players were actually extras in it, which, you don't really realise. And, so that'll be a really interesting chat. I think all week next week we've got some great guests. Just going back to what our original question was when we first came on, Erdy, who's really stood out for you as our guests so far, which we've had? I know we've had some great guests all the way through, but is there any one in particular who actually, does...
I mean, you've got all different characters. You've got your Reza Ruddock, who you laugh all the way through it for 60 minutes, and you've got people... I found Derek Redmond absolutely kind of inspirational chat. I thought that was brilliant. Lammy was fun. Sadly, he struggled with his... I think... Out of all of them, the one that I probably enjoyed most was Howard Clark, probably because he was my boyhood hero living in this area. So I aspired to be like him, not quite with his caddies, but like that on the golf course.
Mr. Angry on the golf course at times, or his actual play?
No, he was just, you won't cross him honestly when because he had a few he's got a few demons in his Swede, that lad. So he's got to. For me, he was the one that was great fun, and it's always nice to chat to Leeds United managers, any sort of football like we do, because we do it every day. What do we say about Leeds United?
Yeah, that's what I like. The thing with me with Hurdy, the thing with me, Hurdy, with Howard is, we used to play with him when because he used to come and train with us down at Leeds. Yeah. So he used to come and actually train with us at Thorpe Arch, and he got to know a lot of the lads quite well. And he used to take us off and play golf. And the thing for me, as being a keen golfer myself, is the noise which you hit it. And he hit that ball, and then on a par 5, he was up with you at certain times. He was hitting at 80%, which is the one thing which I learned as a golfer from him. Always hit it at 80%. You don't have to hit it at full. And then suddenly you got a par 5, and he's 50 yards in front of you, and it's just a different game. What somebody like Clarkey was playing at that time on it, and you played at a high level, a really good level, mate. What I'm talking about.
I played with a lot of great players. I played with Harrington under the cosh, Els under the cosh, Langer under the cosh, Harrington, Poulter, Rose. I played with some great players, but ball striking wise, with the old ball and the old clubs, Clarkey's as good as it gets. You know what I mean? And then like you say, moving to Wednesday, you've got Lee Dixon, an absolute legend, and I'm looking forward to asking him about that one game they had again for 4 of them. He put all the 4 Arsenal defenders in the England team. Do you remember, Cuz?
Yeah.
Was it Wilco did it for one game? I think it might have been. I might be wrong here, but we'll get told tomorrow. But I'm sure a manager came in for one game and he just picked all the back 4. They were all over 30, I think. And he picked all the back 4 for the England game at Wembley. I'll never forget it.
The thing is, I think it could have been on that kind of thing. Though I don't understand why managers don't do that anyhow. That back 4 were all English. They were the best back 4 in the country for years. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just pick them all at the same time?
AJ, name the back 4, please.
Right, okay. All right, I'm going to have a guess here. I'm going to go Lee Dixon.
Yeah.
Tony Adams.
Yeah.
Oh no, he can't play for me. Keown's going to go, but that's he would play for England, would he?
Keown and Winterburn.
Was it Keown? Was it Keown and Winterburn?
Yeah, very good.
Well, bold Keown. But to be fair, AJ, before Hurdy came on, I did tell you what the back 4 was. So you should have been listening to that one, really, shouldn't you? You just ignore him as usual.
Well, no, I just look at you in awe and think, wow, isn't it great to see you?
And then, of course, like you've probably gone over, Leeds legend Jermaine Beckford, who was in that era of Leeds United inspirational for us, and he got his move to Everton, which he totally deserved. And I think Thursday will be interesting because that's when Leeds really did struggle for a long time, and then they came out of it the other side with him kind of helping us get through it from the old Division 3 back into Division 2, back into the Championship. And I think that's going to be an interesting chat on Thursday as well. But Friday, like you say, with Varney, he'll have some amazing stories, and he's a top bloke. So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Brilliant. As always, everybody out there can follow us on Facebook, can find us, find all the ones which we've done in the past. They're all there on Facebook as well. But what I would say is, with this going out, everybody just please share it. Please like our page and let people know what we're doing, because the more people who like it, the more people will see the live events coming on. You'll get a reminder just before. So, if you are out there and you do want to watch it, just like our page. It's SGH Sporting Events. If you just go onto there, the other thing which I've got to mention as well is, we've got this prize as well for the NHS, which is the Sergio Garcia signed Masters flag from 2017. Hurdy, it's a great piece. It's a fantastic piece.
It's worth well over in an auction. We'd always get over $1,000 for it. And I'll just say one thing. Even if you don't watch him, it's worth a tenner. It's worth a punt. I mean, you see what Finno did with his charities. I mean, he gets amazing prizes and claimed, I think he's done about 70 grand's worth of caddy funds now, which is just fantastic. But this thing for the NHS, a lot of people are doing it now. But if we can raise a couple of grand, I think we're about 1,600 quid, and we've got a few sponsors this week. So just give and try and win something back. It's easy to give money, but there's a nice gold bullion at the end where you could win something, you know what I mean?
And the money itself, if you go onto the SGH Sporting Events page, Facebook page, you will be able to find that. We will put a link on Twitter. We'll put a link on Facebook today, which means you can just click and it'll just go straight onto it as well. It's £10 an entry. Every penny is going to the NHS. It's a great prize, and I'm sure somebody out there, it will hang on somebody's wall. Like we do talk about the memorabilia a lot, and that will be something which somebody will have on their wall, I'm sure, with great pride. But we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock, as per usual, with our normal guests. With AJ will be in the background. We'll have Linny as well, and myself, and we will have Russell as well with us tomorrow. And that will be a great chat. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to how a professional footballer back in those days plays with Pelé in a film more than anything. It's an interesting one. Is that
style.
One?
The style.
Exactly, and how they escaped as well.
Cousins, can I just jump in there today? One thing we didn't recap, and actually it's one of the best things about these lunchtime with the series is the fact you get to delve into somebody's home and their life at home. And of course, we've seen some amazing pieces of memorabilia hung on people's wall. I'm going to ask Hurdy this as well. What's been the highlight of people's memorabilia walls or bookcases or whatever they've got?
I think it was very amusing where you had a full bookcase of Will Carling's and it had the big ones. That was quite funny. I mean, the picture, like you did a picture of Rodrigo, that was quite very similar, but that was something you didn't buy, so that probably put you back in your box, Jennings.
Hello.
Thankfully,
you'll be buying it though, Eddie. It's still here.
Thankfully, Tony didn't say it was from his dying mother or something like that. So that was good. God. But some, like you say, some of the memorabilia, even Razor showing his wife's threatening bits off. That was quite a funny one. You know what I mean? That was on the old page 3 modelling.
Lammy with his fish.
Lammy with his fish.
I thought Goffey's 3 England caps had just sunk to the bottom of the frame were brilliant. Absolutely.
What I do think it's absolutely great that these guys have still got all the memorabilia and they've got it around the house and they've got little bits. And Tony Drigo's story with his memorabilia was brilliant. Where he's got the full kit, from that game itself. And they're the kind of things which, you do keep a certain amount of memorabilia and you hang it up wherever you hang it up or wherever you're allowed to hang it up, where your missus won't allow it otherwise normally. And it's something which you can look back on, and it's you look back on with great pride, and that's. It's great. It's a great question.
You've got yours, because your boys and your youths and Mac and Ali when he actually put it on, that was quite amusing.
Brilliant.
Well, you see that was a difference. So I played for England under 21s, and I've got a cap which has got. And I was in an era where it was you got your games actually on the cap, so you only got 1 cap a year, and that you had all the games on it. Go back a few years, they all had. The games were individual caps, so some of them, we'll have a huge amount of caps.
I didn't know you played for England under 21 codes.
I played for the 21s out in Toulon with no wheeling, but the main person I suppose was David Beckham. So I played with Becks, and we got on really well. To be fair, I can remember the day it was quite a funny story actually. He came to me and we were both sponsored by Adidas. And so we worked out that if we went together, we'd get more stuff. So he made his debut against Leeds at Old Trafford. It was my second full game, my third game for Leeds down at Old Trafford. And he'd made his debut. So we had a bit of a connection that way. We had under 21s and so on. So we actually contacted each other quite regularly. And we used to go down to Adidas and pick up our stuff. So he'd go in with 1 bag, I'd go in with another bag. And we'd come out with 2 bagfuls of kit. So we kind of did it quite regularly. We went down at least every month. And he just goes, he says, I've met this bird. I said, all right, who have you met? He says, I've met this girl. She's quite famous. She's in the Spice Girls. And I said, please tell me it's Emma Bunton. Because for me, she was the nicest looking one. And he goes, no, it's the posh one. And then I have to say he changed at that point. We were supposed to be going out in Leeds. It was, he'd scored the goal at Wimbledon. They beat us at Leeds 4-0, and we were supposed to be going out. Me, him, and Sharpie were supposed to be going out not too long after that. But even Sharpie will say he just changed at that point. But yeah, I played for the 21s.
Oh, that's good. I didn't. Do you think your careers went in slightly different directions? Cause
I think they did a little bit. Yeah, I think they did. I think. Do you know what? AJ? I think there's a bit of not luck. I think there's a bit of where your coaching comes in, and I think
Absolutely.
they had the coaching down at Manchester United. We had Mick Hennigan, God rest it. He's brilliant. He's Mick. We love him to bits, but he wasn't really a coach. Howard wasn't really a coach. George wasn't really a coach, when he came in. And me and George George fell out with me at the Arsenal game away, and I never played again. And you just literally pushed to one side. So, it's that team speaks for themselves. That team we beat in the Youth Cup final speaks for itself of what the players did. Manchester United.
The scary thing is you'd have been on 10 grand playing in the reserves. You know what I mean? Now in the Premiership, where you were at the time, you know what I mean. You've got to remember, you're not playing in Division 3, Division 2, Division 1. Well, my brother-in-law Tom signed as a kid, and it was at the height of 2000 when we were proper, and he got into the reserves, and he was a good little player. But just the team you're playing in a great team. Now, over the last 5 or 6 years, you'd have been playing every game, but that's just the strength and depth of the team at the time, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also, back in my day, it was only 2 subs, when we first started, and then it went to 3 with a keeper and stuff, and then 5 on European days. So, yeah, it was football changed, and that's the interesting thing when we're talking to all these guys who are footballers and stuff. That's the interesting thing which we get. So
it's been amazing. It's been amazing listening to the lads who have signed on their apprenticeships on like £23 a week.
I know. Yeah.
I know. It's just
well, we were £32 a week. We were, and we had we got it for 2 years, and then I was similar to, I think Robbie got one. I got mine in March. I got a new contract in March, and I was £150 a week. Thought you were a millionaire at that point. The conversation I really liked was with Rob about his card, his first ever card.
It's brilliant.
Just things like that. It was something which he had a choke on. He had to pull the choke out. Things like that.
He dropped it off. Didn't he drop it off at his uncle's house and went in a different car? He drive it there because he was too embarrassed.
So, but yeah, there's some great stories from some great lads. But as I say, out there, if you are watching, get on. Make sure you share the post, share this post, and let's get it out there. Let's get as many people as we can, because we do have some great guests coming forward, and we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at 12 o'clock as normal.
Brilliant. Cheers, boys. Sorry,
cheers, guys. See you, lads. See you guys.
Cheers.
Please give to the NHS.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing. Cheers, pal. Cheers, cuz.
Cheers.